Hey everyone, I hope you're all very well. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we'll be going through 10 exercises which you might want to avoid simply because they provide minimum benefit, if any benefits at all. In addition, I'll point out a few more exercises which aren't completely pointless but are necessary. So let's get started with the first one. The standing plate press. This is becoming increasingly popular as a chest exercise. However, using a plate or a dumbbell even, in this way when standing, will not actually load your chest, but instead it's going to be a lot more front delts. The next exercise, it's basically the same story. To actually target your chest in this position, you need to perform this movement at a cable station. By using cables, the resistance will be acting in the correct direction. With dumbbells, the weight is just basically pulling your arms straight down and making it a lot more front delts once again. Next up, we have a popular squat variation, the cable squats. So in this variation, the cable is in the direction where it's basically just pulling you forward when squatting. So it's not really adding load or making your squat heavier or more difficult. It's, if anything, it's just messing with your balance, and it's not really a good squat variation. Our next exercise, external rotations with dumbbells. Most people do this as a shoulder warm-up or an exercise to train and strengthen their rotator cuff muscles. However, in this exercise, to load this external rotation movement, we want to pick a loading method, I should say, which will provide resistance from the side. Now, probably the worst one on the list is the sideways leg press, or I'm not even sure what you call this, just like where you kind of lie down or sit down sideways and perform the leg press with one leg. So this is probably invented by those social media fitness influencers. The idea is supposed to be that this is better at training your glutes. However, not only your knee will be at a vulnerable position here, your spine is basically twisted under load. So you might be okay performing this exercise with really light weight and low intensity, but what's the purpose of that? Just perform a single leg press, which will be so much more effective and safer than this. Performing shrugs while rolling your shoulders forward. So this is another one on the list. So since we know that our traps, the function of our traps, the trapezius muscle, is shoulder elevation, which is basically just moving, shrugging up and down, there's no need to really add this extra rolling part. This doesn't provide any additional benefit during this exercise. Next up, we have leg extensions, but we have leg extensions done in a particular way. So basically, the claim is that when you perform leg extensions with your toes pointed out and your legs kind of rotated outwards, you will train more of your inner quads. And when you perform leg extensions with your toes pointing in and like your legs kind of rotated inwards, you will be able to train more of your outer quads. However, this is not the case. This isn't true. So just basically stick to performing the leg extensions normally. It's a fantastic exercise for the quads that will load them in their contracted position. Here we have the side bends, which is an exercise I'm not a big fan of to start with, but performing this with a weight in each hand really makes this pointless, as you are simply countering the weight on one side with the weight in your other hand. So yeah, this is pretty useless here. Next, we have lateral raises, a great exercise to train your side delts. However, using a barbell over a dumbbell will provide no additional benefit in terms of muscle building. However, it will limit your ability to progress the weight because of the instability a barbell provides and the higher demand on your grip. Next up, we are on the lat pull down machine. So this is also kind of becoming more and more popular. I don't know the reason why, but performing this exercise while sitting the opposite direction, so without using those thigh pads. The problem here is you are basically taking away the stability the pads provide. This will really affect your performance, as the heavier you start going, like the harder it's going to be for you to stay seated as the weight's going to start pulling you up. As I mentioned in the beginning, I would like to point out a few more exercises in addition to these ones that aren't terrible but are unnecessary. And the behind the neck lat pull downs is one of them. They are not superior to regular pull downs in any way, so unless you have a very specific reason, I wouldn't really recommend them. Same with the behind the neck press. It's not necessarily a bad exercise, but most people do not have the required shoulder mobility to perform this exercise correctly and safely, which usually ends up in them having shoulder pain. A regular shoulder press will be the safer option for most people. And lastly, the famous upright rows. Again, not a terrible exercise because it will train your shoulders. However, due to the incorrect technique, going really close with your grip and pulling too high, combined with the heavier weight, this exercise has probably damaged a lot of shoulders in the gym. That's going to be it for today's video. I hope it was a useful one. Please let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Please consider subscribing if you're liking the content, and I will see you in the next video.